I couldn't stay still after this horrendous, explosion. And I thought, let's go on the ground and take action. And in the area where I would know most, which is the business area. And I thought, how can we help women businesses, small and medium-sized businesses that were affected by the explosion? How can we help them go back on their feet? And so we launched immediately a survey with UN Women to check, women respondents who had been affected by the blast. We had more than 100 replies already through social media gathering of information. And then through walking in the streets of Beirut and referrals from other NGOs, we were able to build a database of 240 women-owned businesses of small and medium-sized that were affected by the blast. What happened is that we decided we're going to help 3 types of women business owners. The very vulnerable women owners, like small grocery stores, small hairdressers, flower shops, tailor shops. These women are usually the sole proprietary of this place, and the whole family is really, dependent on their income. Many of them today have husbands that are either unemployed or that were injured or with severe illnesses. And really, they are the ones who, whenever they can, have to help the family, be up and running. The second category of women we wanted to help are women who are still employing people, even after this dramatic situation in Lebanon. They are employing more than 5 people. These category are restaurant owners, supermarket owners, so they have a bigger scale usually than the first category. And then for those of you who know Beirut, we really wanted that the heritage, the cultural heritage of Beirut, the special flair of Beirut, the small jewelers, designers that were all in the area, unfortunately affected by the blast, can again start their businesses. The very difficult situation in Lebanon has made that mental health support is now a priority. We have realized that some of the women we have helped towards the month of December really had difficulties entering their stores. They were really afraid that danger might happen again. The economic crisis was hitting and they didn't sell. So it was really, they were in a very down mode. And we thought with Intisar Foundation, how can we really make something to support them, in the mental health. And we strongly believe with Intisar Foundation that there is a correlation between women's mental health and women's economic empowerment. And we're going to make a study out of this. So we started 16 weeks of mental health support for our women entrepreneurs. And actually, we had 3 sessions already. And unfortunately, it seems that the level of trauma within our group is very high, and even higher that women who are in camps, actually in refugee camps, because the women of our database have lost everything: the home, the business, the social status that the business can give you, the economic status, their bank account has been frozen. So really, and on top of it, some of them cannot pay university or schooling for the children. The situation in Lebanon is beyond what one can imagine today. So first of all, I want to put a perspective for people who are not from family businesses, that family businesses represent 85% of the private economy in the region. So it's an important economic engine. And so, of course, it comes with its complexities, its generation challenges. Our family business is as you mentioned, more than 120 years old. We are what they call in the jargon of family business, cousin consortium. It means we are cousins in the business, okay? We've crossed the founder and the brothers, etc. And now we are in a cousin consortium. I was the first one from generation 4 to join the business. And I was the first woman from the family to join the business after more than 100 years of history. So it was an interesting thing. Before me, there was no woman member from the family who was in the business, in the management, or later on in the board of directors. So it was not an easy journey first, and so I say this because for family members, sometimes people who are not from a family business don't know that it can be sometimes complicated, as it shows from outside that you are born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But for some it is, for some it isn't. And I always say that in family businesses, it's damn if you do and damn if you don't. Because if you're not good and you don't perform, they say, yes, she's the daughter of, or he's the son of, and is a spoiled person, etc. But if you're good, they say, but she's good because it's her father, her uncle, etc. So actually, in a family business, beyond your family name, you have to do yourself a surname. And that's something that my mom always told me. She said, you have, who is Caroline? People want to know who is Caroline beyond the Fattal. I wish I had an answer, Tamara. When I started to get interested in the issues of gender diversity and equality, it was maybe 20 years ago. And unfortunately, numbers have not changed dramatically in 20 years. In the beginning, I was full of hope, and I thought that, we don't need quotas and things will change without having, an imperative. But unfortunately, the numbers are still mostly the same, or have changed very little. And it will take still more than 100 years to reach equality, and we still have the salary gaps and everything. So it seems that what we've been doing so far has not really worked. And I think one of the things I would say is that how to engage men in the dialogue. And I think what has to change is bringing men into the dialogue. And I think men, especially men in the Middle East, are not satisfied with the way also the masculinity has treated them. They are also there has been a study done by Promundo, I think, on masculinities in the Middle East, where it showed as well that men are victims of stereotypes and, as a sole breadwinner, with a lot of stuff that's putting a lot of stress on them. So I think the dialogue between men and women to change things in the corporate world, in the social environment, is key, because so far, and I would say quotas at the beginning for a period of 4 to 5 years to make things change, either in the political arena, because in Lebanon we still have very low participation of women, either ministers or in parliament, or we have to decide to engage. And one thing I see, because you mentioned my coaching practice, a lot of time I see in men, but mostly in women, a lack of wanting to play the politics. And when you grow in the hierarchy and when you reach the C-suite, there is no way out of internal politics. Unfortunately, the idea is how to play the politics authentically. And I tell women, and sometimes men when it's needed, that competence alone is not enough. If you are competent and a hard worker, etc., it's not enough. You need competence and influence. What is influence? It's about spreading your network, about people knowing you in the company. It's about when your promotion or your salary is discussed, that they know who you are, and you have a sponsor in the company. So very important, competence and influence. Don't be just the one that's working hard but no one knows about. And again, it comes to another point, which is about bragging. Women feel that when they talk about themselves, they are bragging. And there is a book actually called Brag. No, it's not bragging. It's just putting up your stall, explaining what you're doing, because no one knows otherwise.